60% of the cars in a parking lot are blue. If there are 42 blue cars, how many total cars are in the parking lot? When we do percent problems, it helps us, if they're word problems, it helps us to be able to kind of write a short sentence that describes what we need to find. And usually that sentence is blank percent of blank is blank. What? All right, so this is the percent of the total is the part. Okay, so percent of the total is the part. And sometimes it really is helpful for us to remember that when we have a word problem. So we're going to look at this and we're going to try and find the total because we are being given the part. So let's fill in what we know. We know that it's 60% of, well, we don't know what the total is, but we know that 42 is the part, right? Because the part is the blue cars. The total is all the colors of car. So the first way that we're going to do this is we're going to do a ratio table. Okay, and when we do a ratio table, we're comparing the part to the total, and we try with a word problem to have our part be specific. So in this case, we're going to be comparing blue cars to the total. Now, what do I have here? I have the percent, and the percent is always going to be put in the table the same way. 60% will be written 60 out of 100 because, again, a percent is a part to total ratio where the total is always 100. And now we have this 42. And the reason we like to be specific about the part is because in the problem, if we go back to the words, it says there are 42 blue cars. Well, that helps us know where to put that 42. Okay, we're not putting it as the total because there are 42 blue cars. Now, why did I leave a space in the ratio table? Because I know that 42 is not a factor of 60. So I'm going to have to do something, have an intermediate step to help me find what my final answer is going to be. And so my default is to divide by 10 because there's a 0 in the ones place in 60 and 100. So I'm going to start with that. I'm going to divide by 10. I'm going to divide by 10. And I'm going to get 6 out of 10. Well, I do see that there's a relationship here. I know that 6 times 7 is 42. And so I have to multiply 10 times 7, and that is going to give me 70. And so I know now that there are 70 cars in the parking lot. And that's the way we do this problem with a ratio table. Let's take a look at how we would do it with a tape diagram. Okay, so we have the same thing. We have to find 60% of the total we know is 42. Okay, and we're going to make our bar model the same way as we would if we were looking for the total. I'm sorry, if we were looking for the part. We're going to divide it into 10 pieces. Okay. And in this case, we don't know what the total is. So that's going to be our answer. Okay. Now, what do we know? We know that we have to label this first. And sometimes it's a pain in the neck, but we always want to do that because it's going to help us. So we have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. Okay, and we are interested in 60%. So I'm going to shade in 6 boxes, right? I'm going to shade in all the way up to 60. Okay, and that 60% or 6 boxes is 42 cars. Okay, so 60% of the total is 42. So I have 42 and I have 6 boxes, and I know all the boxes have to be the same. So I have to take 42 and I have to evenly divide them among the 6 boxes. And that's going to give me 7. And so a 7 goes in each box. Okay. And one of the reasons we divide our bar model into 10 is because the division and the multiplication is so easy, right? So in this case, I have a 7 in each box times 10 boxes. That would be 70 cars. And so there are 70 cars in the parking lot. And as you can see, it is exactly the same answer as if we did it using a ratio table. So it's up to you. You can use either method, whichever one is easier for you. That's the one you should use.